Hello my lovelies, welcome back to another video. I want to talk about rest and energy and how you can have more energy and why getting more rest is not actually giving you the energy. It's not allowing you to feel the way that you actually want to be feeling. Let me guess, you're feeling shattered. You're feeling low on energy. Your body might be feeling really sluggish in itself. You're just not feeling motivated, but you've got this big to-do list of things. You've got aspirations of things you want to do. You can see this different version of yourself and your life playing out. But no matter what you seem to do, you can't seem to find the energy required to have all these things, to do all of these things in your life and to show up with that flowing energy, because it is so amazing. It is such an amazing feeling when you can feel energy flowing through your body. And trust me, I have been there so many times. Like, there have been so many times when I just haven't had the energy. And I've believed for a long time, I was given the advice for a long time that all I needed to do was, I just needed to take more rest. I just needed more downtime. I needed more time for myself. I just needed to rest. But the thing is, and let me know if this is resonating with you, is that I did take rest. I did take downtime. And it temporarily kind of eased the situation. It kind of temporarily gave me some energy, but it wasn't sustainable. Like, it did not give me that spark of energy. It didn't make me energized throughout my whole day so I could do all the things that I needed to do, so I could be mum, so I could be the boss, so I could be the wife and the lover, like, so I could, be me and creative and all those kind of juicy things that I wanted to do. Rest wasn't actually giving me that. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely agree there is a time and a place for rest. We all need rest, we all need downtime. But I think for so many of us, it ends up being this kind of go to slap the kind of plaster over the wound, and it doesn't actually work. Like, rest is not what you need. And so what I've done as part of this video is I've highlighted four key areas that four different ways that you can start to bring more energy into your life so that you can have that delicious flowing energy to do all of the things that you want to do. And these are the things that I regularly make sure that I have going on all the time throughout my day, throughout my life, because these are the things that sustain my energy rather than drain it. These are the things that mean I don't need to constantly keep trying to rest all the time, okay? So for those of you that are new to my channel, hi, I'm Josephine Snowling. I'm really pleased to have you here. If you're new, then make sure you subscribe if you are all about connecting back in with yourself. My vibe is personal development, inner work, self-growth. I've been on my own personal self-growth journey, I think since I was a child, really, but from the time I can remember really truly stepping into it seriously was about 10 years ago. And I have done nothing but consume research and tried things and explored all the different avenues of things like Buddhism. I've done Tantra, I've done astrology, numerology, what else have I done? Oh, just so many different things, loads of different things. And my belief is that when you come home to yourself, when you go back inwards, like back home, that is when you can start to create the life that you desire. And so this is what my channel is about. So if that is your vibe, then make sure you subscribe. Okay, let's get into the first thing that you can start to do. And this doesn't have to be complicated. So when I say this, don't start thinking, oh, I need more money, I need to have more time, blah, 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 blah. Don't put the blocks in the way before you've heard me out, okay? The first thing that you need to do is you need to start making your life more exciting. Like, one of the things that I realized when I would feel really like low on my energy, when I would feel really unmotivated, was because things had kind of just got bland. Things had got really stale and just boring, if I'm honest. And that's not me being ungrateful for my life. It's just that the way in which I was going about those things was just getting really boring. Like, we end up, most of the time we're not jetting off all over the place. And even if you do have a lifestyle like that, people like to have routine. Like, it's nice to have some consistency and some routine. But what can happen with that routine after a while is it can just start to become a bit stale. You just end up getting up and you become monotonous and you just do the things that you need to do. You're ticking off that to-do list and you kind of just get through the day, and then you go to bed and then you just wake up and repeat. And that's what gets boring. But you don't have to like redo your whole life. You don't have to rethink like everything in your life to start making it more exciting. You just have to start peppering in little elements of fun and excitement throughout your day. So things like, one of the things that I do most days is cook for my family. So I will be doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner most of the time. And that can get really boring after a while. It's 3 meals every day of the week. And I don't know if any of you also resonate with this, but sometimes being an adult, having to constantly think about what you're going to eat all the time just feels like a bit of a drag. But it's a major responsibility that I've chosen to take on, especially as a stay-at-home mum. And it's a major part of life, like we all have to eat. And so I've tried to look for ways in which I can start to make that more fun. So I've started to look at finding new recipes, getting more involved with like cooking again, like getting out my old cookbooks, looking for different cuisines, like new ingredients that I can try. Also the whole process of cooking, like throw your own private little dance party whilst you're cooking, get some good music on, or use that as a chance to maybe listen to some audiobooks. Cook with your kids if you've got kids and that's what you want to do. Start making it more fun rather than just like, oh, right, okay, now I have to cook dinner again. It's about, life is supposed to be fun, and the whole journey needs to be enjoyable. Like there's no point just, going on this hamster wheel until you can get to vacation time, or until it's time for a break, time for a rest. Like that's how I used to do my days. Like I used to do everything that I could during the day just to get to the evening when I got that downtime. And you just can't live this way. You can't sustain that. And this is why you don't have the energy, because if you're living, like a lot of people just live for the weekend, they'll go to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and they live for, Friday night, for Saturday, for Sunday. But that isn't life. Like life is every day, every moment. And you need to start finding ways to enjoy all of those moments. And even if it's things that, maybe aren't your favorite things to do, how can you make them more fun? How can you make it so that you want to do those things? Like one of the things that kind of feels like a right drag is putting clothes away to me. It just seems to take forever. It feels really laborious. But what I've decided to do each time I have to do that is I find a really good audiobook that I listen to, and I make it that I only listen to that book when I do that task, so that I actually get excited. I'm like, okay, I want to do this because I want to listen to this book now. So you don't have to spend loads of money. You don't have to have lots of extra time to do all of this stuff. You just have to get creative and think outside of the box as to how you can start to make your life more fun. Like start to romanticize your life more, don't keep saving things for a rainy day. Like I do this quite a lot with things like what I wear, especially I think being a mom, and because my clothes tend to get really dirty, like even though my kids are older now, there still ends up like with food on them or dirt or, whatever it is. And I kind of get into this like state of mind where I'm like, well, I'm not going to put anything on that nice because I know it's just going to get messed up anyway. But at the end of the day, it's only food, it's only a bit of mud, it can be washed. Like, I have a whole like wardrobe of lovely clothes that I just keep for like special occasions, but every day needs to kind of be like a special occasion. We need to start viewing it as it being as precious as a special occasion, okay? So don't keep saving things for those rainy days. And this doesn't mean like, go and blow and spend all your money, not at all. But it's those little simple things like, put on a nice outfit for the day just because it's a Tuesday or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be for any reason, just because it makes you feel good. And it's nice to look good, and it's nice to try out something new in your wardrobe, for example, okay? Start to romanticize your life more by just thinking outside of the box, by just starting to think about the things that you love, think about the things that you enjoy, the things that are fun, and tagging them on to those little life tasks that we all just have to do, okay? And quickly, before I move on to step number 2, I just want to let you guys know that I have a beautiful free gift that I have put together for you. And it is my guide to get you started on this journey towards uncovering your authentic self. It's going to get you starting to connect back in here, so that all of this stuff that I'm talking about in this video becomes easy, this is where you get your own self-reflection. This is where these ideas start to come from within, okay? So the booklet talks all about connecting in with like your intuition, raising your vibration, how to manage your negative emotions, how to get the best out of them. There's like a whole little like process that I've put in there on how you can like work through and use your negative emotions to benefit you. There's all sorts of things in there, and it's just this really juicy little starter guide that's just going to get you on that path towards connecting back in here. Because once you can get connected back in here, back to your home, back to your center, like that is when everything just becomes so much more easier. That's when you stop looking for all those answers outside yourself and you come back in here for the answers. Okay, so I'll put that in the description below. Go and check it out. Right, next one, moving on, number 2. Move your goddamn body, okay? Oh my God, this is for me as well, me telling myself this. It's one of those things where when you feel like you've got no energy, when you feel like you're lacking in energy and lacking in motivation, you feel like you just want to rest. But actually what you need to do is you need to energize yourself. Like I said, there's always a time and a place for rest. And I tend to find that, when you're ill, when you've got you can feel you're sort of getting ill, like those are the times when rest is really needed. Or when you've, kind of got to that point of like burnout, or when you've just been like super hyper busy. Those are the times when rest is really beneficial and important. But I think a lot of the other times we kind of get ourselves, especially around our body and feeling energized in our body, is when we don't feel like we've got any energy. We feel like what we need to do is we need to rest. But actually, if you want to start feeling more energized, you need to move your body. Like, I forget this. I have to remind myself of this because it becomes so easy to fall into that trap. But every time I get up and I do a small little workout, I do a bit of yoga, I go for a walk, it does energize you. It gets the energy moving, flowing, moving through your body. Like, that is kind of the whole point of it. Now, you have to be careful. I think that if you go too hard on it, then you fall into the realms of needing rest again, like physical rest. But if you just hit that sweet spot with the way in which you move your body, how you choose to do that, it can give you so much energy, okay? And like I say, it can be anything. You could go to the gym, you could do a workout at home, you could decide to do some yoga, you could just dance around your kitchen, cleaning the dishes, or doing the cooking, whatever it is. Go out for a walk, get into nature for a bit. Choose the movement that is suited to where you are in your lifestyle, where you are in your body right now. Don't feel like you have to go and do some hour-long HIIT workout or something crazy, unless that's you. But then I'm kind of guessing that if that is you, then maybe, this isn't the video for you. But find movement that feels good in your body. So like with me, for example, I really like to coincide the exercise and the movement that I do along with my monthly cycle. I tend to find that there's certain periods throughout my cycle where I want to move more vigorously and where I want to move slower. But even when I want to move slower, which tends to be when I'm menstruating or just before then, I still need to move. If I get stagnant, that's when I feel like I don't have the energy. So that's when I would pick something like some really gentle yoga stretches. It doesn't even have to be long, 10-15 minutes can do wonders. But it connects you back into your body. It gets your energy flowing and moving. It gets your blood moving through your body better. It even warms you up. That's a key thing, especially if you live in a colder climate or you're in a country where the season is currently colder. If you start to feel cold, this is what I say to myself: if I'm starting to feel cold, I know I need to move more. Because normally I would just snuggle up in a blanket or put on more jumpers, more layers. But as soon as you start to move more, you don't need all of that, okay? So just little things like that. Use that as your cue to be like, okay, do I need to just move around a bit more? And again, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to grab my bag and go to the gym. Just do some like vigorous housework. Like even housework can be like a workout routine if you do it in the right way. But just make sure that you start moving your body, because if not, you get in this kind of vicious cycle of you don't feel like you've got the energy. And so you feel like you want to rest, but what you actually need to do is you need to kind of pump the energy around your body. You need to move it to feel more energized. And I know it can feel like really counterintuitive, but it's kind of just how it works. So find some movement that really suits you, something you enjoy, something that doesn't feel like a drag. You know, you need to find something that does make you feel energized. Again, this isn't about adding more to your to-do list, like, or ticking more off that to-do list. It's about trying to help yourself and trying to find that movement that's going to bring that energy for you. And then number 3 is raise your vibration. Okay, one of the reasons that you're going to be feeling like you've got a lack of motivation, that you're feeling like you've got a lack of energy, is probably because you are operating more often than not in a lower vibration. Low vibrations, negative emotions. Low vibrations carry low energy. The energy when we're in negative emotions, things like guilt, like shame, like when we're feeling like powerless, like in those kind of like sort of depression states, like when we're feeling fear, grief, all of those kinds of things, they have a very, like the energy moves very slowly. And we can feel that, you know, we have energy in our bodies. We are energetic beings. We feel that. We're just not really conscious of that a lot of the time. But that energy moves incredibly slowly within our body. It makes us feel sluggish. You know, we've all experienced this. We know what it's like when we have those moments where we feel shame or where we feel guilt or where we've been in grief or something like that. And we don't want to move. We feel lethargic. You know, we don't want to get out of bed. Like we don't feel that energy moving through our body because we're not allowing the energy to move through our body because of the vibration that we're residing within. So the more you can learn to raise your vibration, and the majority of the time that you can spend in a higher vibration, the more energy you will have available to be moving through your body. And so 2 little like practices for you in this video that are just like my go-to things. Number 1, create yourself a little love list. And that is simply a list of all the things that you love to do. It could be things like things you love to eat, things you love to drink. It could be places that you love to go. It could be things you like to smell. It could be hobbies, things that you like to do to be creative. It could be people that you love spending time with, places that you like going to. I think I've already mentioned that one. Anything. What do you love? Like, what music do you love? What films do you love? What books do you love? All of that kind of stuff. And just write it in a list, a physical list. Pin it up somewhere. Go and put it on your fridge, put it on a wall, put it on a post-it note somewhere beside your bed, somewhere that you can get access to it. And so not only can you like then have this list available, you can also use this list to tag on to the first example, which was make life more exciting, romanticize your life, make it more fun. Take things from that list and apply it to all those tasks, all those different things in your life. So if you enjoy listening to like romantasy books on audio books, play one of those when you're doing the cooking, or, you know, when you're unloading the dishwasher or whatever it might be. But just have that list available and keep referring back to it and keep trying to implement those things in your life. Like I said at the start, life is meant to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. And I think what can happen with so many of us is we kind of just forget. I know that sounds really crazy, but we kind of just forget sometimes to have fun. We forget the things that we love to do because we kind of just get so bogged down in all the responsibilities that we have as adults, all of the things that we need to do, the things that we need to try to achieve, all the goals that we have, that we lose sight of just having fun and laughing and being lighthearted with things. But having that list that, like I say, put it somewhere, and then you can just refer to it, go to it. If you're feeling like down, go and look at it and say, what is on here? What's something really easy that I could do today? Could I today go and buy myself like my favorite lunch and go and eat it in a park that I really like. Just something as simple as that. Could I grab myself a coffee on on the way to drop the kids off this morning? You know, could I call a friend that I haven't spoken to for a while and just have a 10-15 minute chat with them? You know, could I find a new book to read tonight after the kids have gone to bed? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be, right, I need to fly off to Thailand to go and have, you know, an amazing like time on the beach. Like, okay, you can do that if you really want to, but it doesn't have to be these big crazy things, okay? So that's the first one. The second one is start a gratitude practice. Now, I'm not going to go into it completely all in this video because I will link up here. I have a whole video that takes you through the exact gratitude practice that I use. And what's so fantastic about this gratitude practice is that even if you are, so, you know, if you do your gratitude practice in the morning or in the evening and you come to it and you're not in a particularly high flying place, it doesn't matter. I have got like a whole process that will take you through what to do if you are not feeling in that high vibe place, okay? Because yes, it is easier when you're already feeling kind of grateful, when you're already feeling like in a good space, it's easy to then reach for gratitude. But if you're feeling lack, if you're feeling worried, if you're feeling shame, if you're feeling guilt, any of those like lower, you know, negative like emotions, it can be really difficult to then start reaching for gratitude. But my gratitude practice takes you through how to start softening that, how to start raising your vibration even when you are in those more negative emotions. And I recommend doing that gratitude practice first thing in the morning and first thing before you go to bed. Again, you don't have to spend an hour. It doesn't have to take long. 10 minutes like will do wonders. It will give you so much for the rest of the day. And if you do it at night, it then makes the morning so much easier. And then what you start to do is you just like build this habit. You start ingraining it into you where you start just looking for things as you go about your day to be grateful for. You don't have to write them down, but just noting things in your head like, you know, oh, I'm really grateful that green light stayed on for me, or I'm really grateful there was that parking space available, or, you know, you just start to see more things and start to appreciate more things. And all of that is helping to keep your vibration topped up, okay? Because we want that faster moving energy to move through us. And the only way we get that is by getting into those more positive emotions. So I'll put that video in the description and I will link it up here as well for you guys. And then the last one, I'm sorry, my throat is really like, I think I've been talking with a friend all morning. We went to a play date and I'm like a little bit talked out, so struggling a bit. Okay, let's see if I can get through this. The last one, number 4, is move out of that victim mentality. Oh God, I know this one big time. And it's not easy, but my God, does it really not help at all? So things like, I have to do this. Things happen to me. That is when you're in victim mode, okay? I have to do the cooking 3 times a day. I have to do all the laundry. I have to pick up the kids and I have to run this business and I have to do, you know, that is victim mentality. And there's a really simple little thing that you can do to change that. Every time you catch yourself saying, I have to, swap it to I get to. I get to do this. I am privileged enough, I am abundant enough, I am lucky enough to get to do these things, okay? Just reframe it, okay? It just starts to shift you more into gratitude. It starts to get you seeing like, actually, I do get to do these things. Like I'm healthy enough that I can do these things. You know, I have enough time that I get to do these things. You know, I've been doing this recently. I've like got into like a real slump and it feels like the clouds have finally parted, like the fog has finally cleared. And I realized how much I was really downgrading what I actually had in my life, mainly because I was so focused on all of the big things that I wanted to achieve, all the aspirations that I've got. And I was just comparing and like feeling so far away from it. And I took that moment to switch my mindset and say, instead of I have to do all of this, to I get to do this. And I started realizing like, I get to get up in the morning and take my kids to school every day. Like I get to be that person that does that. And then I get time, it might only be 4 hours, but I get 4 hours on 3 mornings a week to work on my business. I get to do that. I get to decide what I do for my business. I get to create these videos for you guys. Like, you know, then I get to pick my kids up and spend time with my kids. I get to share out that responsibility in the evening. I get to share bedtimes, and then I can sit in bed and read my book. I can spend time with my husband. Like, we overlook so much of what we actually do have. And for so many of us, we actually have so much. And there are very few of us that actually don't have a pretty good life. It might not be everything that you want. Like, I get that. There might be more, like, and there's nothing wrong with wanting more. Like, don't stop wanting more, but don't stop appreciating what you have now, because you'll never get the more. And the more will never do what it is you want it to do when you're not even able to appreciate what you have now, okay? So start to become conscious every time you slip into that thinking of, and you might have slightly different wording that you use in your head, but I know for mine, it's like, I have to do this. Like, this is being done to me, like, oh, this is happening again, or, you know, but I have the power to change all of that. And the best way that you can change any of the things happening in your external reality, anything that's happening in your life that you don't really want to have happen, is to come back in here. This is why I teach about it. Come back in here and change that internal, like, thought process, change that internal story that's going on. I don't have this done to me. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. I choose to do this. And then pair this up with that first tip. I get to do this in this way. You know, I don't just get to do the cooking at night and have to cook for everybody, you know, everyone's meal. I get to cook for everybody. I get to nourish my family. I get to be the person that puts that food on the table for my family. And I get to do it whilst having a dance party. Or I get to do it whilst chatting on the phone to my mum. Or I get to do it whilst listening to a spicy romantasy audiobook. Like, whatever floats your boat. Like, that's where you got to start getting into. I get to do this, and I get to do it in this way because I've decided to do it in this way, okay? And that doesn't need to involve lots of extra money, lots of extra time. It is all about changing up here first, okay? That is it, party people. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap. First, make life exciting again. How can you spice up? How can you romanticize what your life already is? All the parts that you have to do, all those things on a to-do list, how can you make them more exciting, more fun than they currently are? Okay, it's easy. You just have to think outside the box. No more money, no more extra time. Just get creative with it, okay? Number 2, move your body. Get that energy flowing and moving within your body, okay? Rest is not necessarily what you need. You need more energy, okay? More energy to do all the things that you want. Get moving. Find movement that suits you and your lifestyle and that feels good in your body. Don't do movement and like push yourself to burnout, because then you will be needing more rest. Find what feels good. If only 10 minutes feels good, just do 10 minutes. It's about feeling good, okay? It's not about how much you can do. It's about going with what your body is telling you to, okay? Number 3, raise your vibration. Get in those more positive emotions the majority of the time, more often than not. What I always say to people to aim for is aim for 51% of the time. If you can tip the scales and get just that 1% more time that you are residing in a positive emotion than you are a negative one, you will instantly start to see the effect that it has, okay? You just have to tip the scales by 1%. That's literally it. Start there. Don't try and aim for 100%. That's not achievable. No one can do that. If you are, you're an absolute saint, and even saints can't do that. So don't aim for 100%. Perfection is not possible, okay? Even things like 90%, just aim for being in there the majority of the time. Use a gratitude practice. Go in the description to check out the video to the full like process to do a really good gratitude practice. And write your love list down. Stick it up somewhere. Start doing more of what you love. And the last one, number 4, is move out of that victim mentality. Instead of I have to, I get to. Okay, what do you get to do? Like, life is not happening to you as much as I know it feels like it, and I get that. I feel like that as well. Like, even though I know all of this stuff, I know how law of attraction works, and I understand like how this reality works and all that sort of thing, I still fall into victim mentality, because, you know, we are these like 3D humans. Like, it feels like that, but this life, this external world that we see, is all being completely created from what is in here. Okay, that is where your power is. Like, your power, it does not lie in the external things, the external actions that you do. It lies like 80% within the thoughts that you think about things. So if you can get more grateful, if you can get more appreciative, if you can start to see how abundant you actually already are, it is going to have wondrous effects on your external world. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. Whatever you are doing, make sure you subscribe if you're new here. I'd love to have you part of the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Bye.